Hey, it's Austin from TurboLab. In this video I want to show you a Bobcat turbo that we did an upgrade on. The compressor wheel that we use for this build is a GT2860. So the measurements on that is 47mm by 60mm. And then the turbine wheel that we used in this build is 47 by 53.8. which is basically the same turbine wheel as a GT2860, but it's for a journal bearing turbo. This turbo takes a T2 rebuild kit. The compressor housing we did have to machine out for this compressor wheel. As you can see, the factory cover is much smaller than the one that you see here that Ian machined out. The turbine housing also did require us to machine it out for this turbine wheel to fit. So all in all, the reason why we're upgrading this turbo in the first place is to fix it for a customer. This turbo is for a Bobcat for VDOT, which is the Virginia Department of Transportation. We built a couple turbos for VDOT because Ian somehow got a contact from somebody that brings us these turbos and has us repair them. Otherwise, in some cases, some of these turbos aren't replaceable, or it would just cost a lot of time to get a new replacement turbo. In some cases, we've rebuilt turbos that come off of trucks that are so old that they don't make the turbo anymore. So it makes sense to try and fix it if you can. Most of the time, we have to upgrade it to fix it because some of these replacement parts are so hard to get. Here's a pile of turbos that this customer had from replacing the turbos on his Bobcat. Ian did say that he thought he found a replacement for about $300 brand new, which would make the most sense, but for some reason this guy still wanted us to upgrade it. I'm not really sure why. The reason why this customer has went through so many of these turbochargers is because he had an issue with the engine giving the turbo problems. VDOT bought a crate engine for this Bobcat, and the crate engine had some kind of metal contamination in it, like they didn't clean it out well after machining or something, and because of that some metal flake kept on getting inside the turbo and just destroying it. It becomes a continuous problem where you keep on installing the turbo and it keeps getting metal inside of it, clogging up the oil holes, causing it to be starved of oil. VDOT sent the engine back, so hopefully we won't have this problem again, but keep in mind that it could happen again if they don't remove and flush their oil feed line going to the turbo. A turbo this size is normally good for about 350 horsepower. However, you have to keep in mind it is on a diesel, so realistically we'll probably see about 150 horsepower at the most at the tracks, since it doesn't have any wheels, or maybe at the hydraulics. It may be kind of hard to put the Bobcat on the dyno, so you'll just have to take my word for that. Well, that concludes this video. Hopefully you guys found this kind of interesting.